When it gets way out of whack, when I'm doing all of this work and I'm barely seeing any benefits, that's when I start going on Indeed.com in the middle of the night looking for another job. Or that's when I start doing, I believe the new term is like quiet quitting. That's where
Hmm.
you just say, what's the point? I'm just going to do the bare minimum and, that's it. And in our field, you cannot succeed doing the bare minimum.
So
You just,
you're clearly an inspirational speaker. So who or what is the source of your inspiration and passion?
I look for inspiration and motivation every day. And that's where those experiences come in. Like when I go do a training, I did a training not too long ago for staff that help human trafficking victims. Seeing that they dedicated themselves to that field and to they're so optimistic and determined to help, like that motivates me. Like, what am I doing? I'm just out here speaking and giving tools. You're doing the real work. Like when I travel to centers and they dedicate themselves to helping like dislocated workers get jobs or get training or get education in fields that they didn't even think was possible because they could never pay for or they didn't even know that they qualified, and they help them do that. When I go to programs where they help young people graduate who might be the first person in their family to get a high school diploma, like all of those moments give me the inspiration and motivation to do what I do. And that's the funny thing is like they call me out to motivate them and give them tools to inspire others to change. But secretly at the same time, they're giving me what I need to keep going and doing my job. So hearing about like all the positive people out there that are really making a difference, and sometimes we can overlook that stuff, especially if you're on social media too much or you pay attention to um, certain outlets too much. They want to tell you that there's a lot of negativity in the world, which there's a decent amount, but there's more good than bad. And there are so many people out there that just dedicate themselves to helping others. And it's not because the money, and it's not because it's easy. It's because they just genuinely want to help. You know, that's what's motivating. So if you're not motivated, you're not inspired, go seek out the people who are boots on the ground helping others and talk to them and hear their stories. And it will light a fire for you. It will. It does for me.
And that fire is so important. It is. But I want to hear from you. Why do you think that that passion and inspiration is so important for the staff in the child welfare field?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. Because again, you're not in this field for the money. You're not in this field for the recognition. You're not in this field for the flexibility, which some jobs have flexibility, but like see, a lot of times the hours are all over the place. You have you have entered this field because you want to help people. You have entered this field, and more often than not, the people that enter this field are connected to it emotionally because of either something they've experienced or something someone close to them has experienced. So they're tied to the purpose, to the mission, to the vision. So what happens is when you're so intrinsically tied to the work you do, is if you start seeing or believing that you're no longer making a difference, that's when burnout happens. And there was actually a study, they did a study with Teachers of America. It was a really high turnover position, finding out the ones that stay the longest, why are they staying? Why are they not leaving? And what they found is it's not how much you're working, it's how much you're working versus the progress you're seeing in return, the successes you're seeing in return. Is the ratio of work I'm putting in versus the impact I'm making, is it at least somewhere close to even? When it gets way out of whack, when I'm doing all of this work and I'm barely seeing any benefits, that's when I start going on Indeed.com in the middle of the night looking for another job. Or that's when I start doing, I believe the new term is like quiet quitting. That's
Hmm.
where you just say, what's the point? I'm just going to do the bare minimum, and that's it. And in our field, you cannot succeed doing the bare minimum. You just can't. And then it becomes a cycle, because then once you get into the mindset of I'm just going to do the bare minimum, then you see minimum progress. And then the least amount of progress you see, then you start giving less because you're not seeing progress. And then all of a sudden you just get to a point where you're like, I'm done. And now you start looking for other jobs or different career change. And sometimes we lie to ourselves and we say we lost our way, or we don't know what our purpose is anymore. Your purpose doesn't change. The purpose is with you always. Now you can tell yourself that you lost it, but you just stopped asking yourself the hard questions. And usually it ties back to, do I feel like I'm making a difference? How am I celebrating the successes I am having? And turnover, vacancy, compassion fatigue, all that stuff starts happening when we see there's an imbalance in the work I'm putting in versus successes I'm seeing in return.